The broadcast played again on my neural interface as I made my pre-flight checks in the Red Rover's hangar bay. Some pompous Guranian diplomat sneering about how humanity was barely worthy of notice and how our technology was primitive to the point of embarrassment. I allowed myself a small smile as I ran my hand along the sleek frame of my Mark 7 Raptor fighter. Primitive, they said. They had no idea what was coming. Lieutenant Governor, all systems are go for launch drill, my AI co-pilot Santa Maria chirped in my ear. I nodded, though she didn't need the gesture to register my acknowledgement. The neural link between us was seamless, another primitive human innovation. The Red Rover herself was humanity's masterpiece, though you wouldn't know it by looking at her. From the outside, she appeared to be a relatively modest capital ship, about the size of a small moon. The Guranian probably thought they were being generous when they allowed a single human vessel to enter their space as a gesture of diplomatic courtesy. What they didn't know, what no one outside the highest levels of Earth Command knew, was that the Red Rover was essentially a mobile pocket universe. The quantum foam manipulation drives didn't just bend space, they created it. The ship's interior existed in a bubble of manufactured space-time, roughly the size of Jupiter's orbit. Inside that bubble were enough fighters, weapons platforms, and antimatter warheads to wage a small galactic war. And I was one of the lucky few who got to fly those fighters. "Pilots, this is Commander Lincoln," a stern voice cut across the neural net. "The Guranian home fleet has taken up aggressive formation around their capital world. They're posturing, trying to intimidate us. Let's show them why that's a mistake. Launch sequence initiates in 5 minutes. Part necessary payment." I settled into my cockpit as the quantum foam barriers began to thin, preparing to release us into real space. Through the hangar's massive doors, I could see thousands of other fighters, all primed and ready. We were just one wing in one hangar. The Red Rover had hundreds of such bays scattered throughout her artificial cosmos. "Hey, Trent," Santa Maria's voice had that playful lilt she got before combat. "Want to place a bet on how long it takes them to surrender once we deploy the dimensional inverters?" "Ha! That's not sporting, Santa Maria," I chuckled. "Besides, they might surprise us. They've got to have some tricks up their sleeves to be this confident." "Their confidence comes from ignorance," Santa Maria replied. "They think size equals power. They've never encountered a civilization that mastered quantum engineering at our level. They measure fleet strength in ship numbers and weapon yields. We measure it in how many laws of physics we can break before breakfast." The launch countdown began. Through the neural net, I could feel the battle meditation starting to take hold, linking all of us, human pilots, AIs, and the Red Rover herself, into a single, unified consciousness. Another primitive human innovation, mixing meditation techniques from ancient Earth with quantum entanglement and neural technology. "Ow, pilots! Prepare for launch!" Commander Lincoln's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once as the battle meditation deepened. "Remember your training. Remember Earth. And most importantly, remember that we're not here for revenge or glory. We're here to show the Guranian that the galaxy is bigger and stranger than they imagine. Sometimes, the best way to make peace is to shatter someone's preconceptions about what's possible." The hangar doors began to open, revealing the stark beauty of real space beyond the quantum foam barrier. The Guranian fleet hung in high orbit around their homeworld, 10,000 ships arranged in perfect geometric formations. In any other context, it would have been an intimidating sight. But we had something they didn't: imagination. While they'd been building bigger ships and better guns, we'd been asking ourselves what would happen if we took the dreams of science fiction writers and made them real. What if we could fold space like paper? What if we could turn single ship into a universe unto itself? The launch klaxon sounded. 50,000 fighters surged forward from this hangar alone, emerging from quantum foam into normal space like a swarm of angry wasps. Through the battle meditation, I could feel the other hangars opening, releasing hundreds of thousands more craft. The Red Rover herself began to shift, her outer hull reconfiguring as weapon systems that defied conventional physics prepared to fire. I heard the collective gasp across all frequencies as the Garanian realized what they were actually seeing. Their perfect formations began to waver. "Signal from the Garanian flagship," Santa Maria announced with just a hint of smugness. "They're requesting clarification on our ship count. Apparently their sensors are showing impossible readings." Commander Lincoln's response was broadcast to all channels, in all languages. "This is the U.S. Red Rover. We are one ship. We are humanity's response to your mockery. Would you like to revise your assessment of our capabilities?" The silence that followed was profound. Sometimes the best way to win a war is to make it clear that fighting would be futile. As we waited for their response, I couldn't help but smile again. Primitive indeed. Santa Maria's voice came through our private channel. 10 credits says they surrender in the next 30 seconds. I laughed. Santa Maria, what have I told you about sucker bets? Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. Feel free to comment and share this story too. It helps the channel grow. Let's make this channel huge together.